As we'll see, one of the keys required to transcending the material world is realizing what the material world is. Have you ever asked yourself, what is matter? Now that might seem like it has an obvious answer, it's what's right in front of you, but really think about it. Most people imagine that matter is little hard bits whizzing around that clump together to form molecules and complex structures and the world around us. And that's what scientists originally believed. However, that view of matter is actually over 100 years old and 100% false. Now, ever since breaking away from Christianity, my life has been about discovering the truth, and I quickly learned that you need to be just as critical of materialist science as mainstream religion. Now, thanks to the incredible discoveries of quantum mechanics, scientists today have been forced to admit that they have no idea what matter actually is. The fundamental nature of reality doesn't behave like particles of matter, but like energy, frequencies, waveforms that can communicate with each other instantly across the universe. Now, those of you who watch my channel know that this is one of my favorite quotes. One of the founders of quantum mechanics, Max Planck, said, "As a man who has devoted his whole life to the most clear-headed science, to the study of matter, I can tell you as a result of my research about atoms this much. There is no matter as such. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force which brings the particles of an atom to vibration and holds this most minute solar system of the atom together. Mind is the matrix of all matter." So what the hell is matter anyway? Understanding the answer is critical to transcending it. In fact, the very first line that we have of the Gospel of Mary is Jesus being asked about matter. And Jesus reveals that all matter, all creatures, all things are interconnected, come from the same source, and will ultimately return to that source. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene says, "Will matter then be destroyed or not?" The Savior said, "All nature, all formations, all creatures exist in and with one another, and they will be resolved again into their own roots. For the nature of matter is resolved into the roots of its own nature alone." Now notice how this agrees with the discoveries of quantum mechanics.
Now notice how this agrees with the discoveries of quantum mechanics.
That shows that all things are intimately connected. Also note that everything comes from the same root, and returning to that root sounds a lot like the Big Bang, where all matter came forth from a singularity, and the theory of the Big Crunch that says at the end of time all matter will return to a singularity. But we still have the big question, what is matter exactly? And what if I told you the answer to that question also reveals what came before the Big Bang? Let me explain. We already know that the founder of quantum mechanics, Max Planck, said that matter doesn't exist and that mind is the matrix of all matter. Max Planck insisted that reality could not be material but must be mental. Max Planck said, "I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. Everything that we talk about, everything that we regard as existing, postulates consciousness." Another pioneer of quantum mechanics, Erwin Schrödinger, famous for the Schrödinger equation, said that consciousness is fundamental, not matter. He said, "Consciousness cannot be accounted for in physical terms, for consciousness is absolutely fundamental. It cannot be accounted for in terms of anything else." Could it be that the Gospel of Mary held the secret of matter for what was nearly thousands of years before the discoveries of quantum mechanics? And if so, could its secret to escaping the material world be true? See, many scholars believe that the Gospel of Mary Magdalene fits in with the teachings of many other banned books known as the Gnostic texts. These banned Gnostic texts include the Secret Book of John, the Gospel of Judas, the Apocalypse of Adam, and many more. And I've done videos on all these on my channel, by the way. What if I told you that this banned Gnostic wisdom agreed with the discoveries of quantum mechanics? According to these hidden teachings banned by the church, reality is not material at all, but but it's actually mind, just like Planck and Schrödinger said. The Gnostic Christians taught that reality itself is a divine mind of pure light called the One, and that all things are emanations from this mind of pure light. They taught that we are divine beings of light, pieces of that one mind that have become trapped in a cycle of reincarnation in the realm of matter by an evil being they called Yaldabaoth and his demons, who they associated with the God of the Bible. They taught that we are divine beings of light, pieces of that one mind that have become trapped in a cycle of reincarnation in the realm of matter by an evil being they called Yaldabaoth and his demons, who they associated with the God of the Bible.
They taught that we are divine beings of light, pieces of that one mind that have become trapped in a cycle of reincarnation in the realm of matter by an evil being they called Yaldabaoth and his demons, who they associated with the God of the Bible.
See, the Gnostic Christians saw the God of what would become Orthodox Christianity as an evil demonic power that trapped souls of light in matter. And they viewed Jesus as a messenger of the true light to help humanity come to knowledge of their divine origins so they could escape. So according to the banned knowledge of the Gnostic Christians, before the material world existed, there was only pure mind, pure light. If we realize that reality is not matter, but is actually mind, which is light, everything makes sense. This agrees with the discoveries of quantum mechanics. This agrees with the discoveries of quantum mechanics.
This agrees with the discoveries of quantum mechanics.
And also answers the question of what came before the Big Bang, a question that scientists can't even answer. What existed before matter, before the material world, before the Big Bang? Was pure mind or pure light. The physicist David Bohm said that every aspect of the universe, from the tiniest particle to the vast expanse of space itself, was formed from light. He said, light can carry information about the entire universe. Light, by interactions of different rays, produce particles and all the diverse structures of matter. Matter is condensed or frozen light. When we come to light, we are coming to the fundamental activity in which existence has its ground. In other words, matter is nothing but light whose rays have been slowed, frozen light. According to Bohm, matter is transformed light, similar to how ice is transformed water. So what is matter? It's actually transformed mind, transformed light, like a collective dream, a world of frozen light. And this agrees with the discoveries of quantum mechanics and the theories of David Bohm. The question is, if this ancient knowledge was correct over a millennia before modern physics, could it also be right about how to transcend the material world and escape the cycle of reincarnation? And what about the evil god Yaldabaoth keeping us trapped here? That's crazy, right? Well, let me explain, because the answer is incredible and has everything to do with the secret teachings that Jesus told Mary.
It has everything to do with the secret teachings that Jesus told Mary.
In the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, after Jesus reveals to the disciples the interconnectedness of matter, he leaves them. And the disciples are left lost and weeping, having no idea what to do without their leader. But in their darkest hour, Mary steps forward and takes on the role of teacher and leader. Then Mary stood up, greeted them all, and said to her brethren, "Do not weep and do not grieve, nor be irresolute." Mary then delivered. And what came before the Big Bang? We're going to answer all those questions and more right now. The discovery of the mysterious Gospel of Mary Magdalene began in the late 19th century when a German scholar contained the fragment of a nations, and like pieces of a puzzle, what it reveals about how to escape the material world. But first, make sure you like and subscribe every week. I was ready for eternity. Now, the church would hate it, since the material world is an illusion and that it can be transcended and that it has nothing to do with faith in Jesus Christ.
The material world is an illusion, and that it can be transcended, and that it has nothing to do with faith in Jesus Christ.
The material world is an illusion, and that it can be transcended, and that it has nothing to do with faith in Jesus Christ. In fact, in the Gospel of Mary, Jesus reveals that there is no such thing as sin. In fact, in the Gospel of Mary, Jesus reveals that there is no such thing as sin. In fact, in the Gospel of Mary, Jesus reveals that there is no such thing as sin.
In fact, in the Gospel of Mary, Jesus reveals that there is no such thing as sin.
The Gospel of Mary says, Peter said to him, "Since you have explained everything to us, tell us this also. What is the sin of the world?" The Savior said, "There is no sin." You, Savior said, "There is no sin." You, Savior said, "There is no sin." You,
Savior said, "There is no sin."
You can imagine that the church wouldn't be too happy about that. A gospel that denies sin and has a woman replace Jesus? No way they're going to accept that. Growing up Christian, I saw firsthand how women were treated like second class, and I remember how strange it was hearing some of my family members talk about how they needed to submit and obey their husbands. And we see this clearly in the Bible, specifically in the New Testament, where it says that women aren't allowed to teach. I do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man. She must be quiet. It also says that they must be quiet and that they are lesser than men and must submit to their husbands in everything. They're blamed for committing the first sin by eating from the tree of knowledge, but it says that they can save themselves through childbirth. Adam was not the one deceived, it was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner, but women will be saved through childbearing. The church even began to call Mary Magdalene a prostitute. Now that false claim that Mary Magdalene was a prostitute, it started in the 6th century when Pope Gregory the Great, who's not that great, linked her to an unnamed woman who anointed Jesus' feet in the Gospel of Luke. After that, Christian art and literature often portrayed Mary Magdalene as a reformed sinner, and her reputation as a prostitute became deeply ingrained in popular culture. Now, just to be clear, I support S-workers. I don't see it as wrong at all, but it would certainly have a negative impact on her character and reputation in Orthodox Christianity. However, in contrast to that, some people believe that Mary Magdalene was actually Jesus Christ's secret wife. But the biggest piece of evidence proponents of this theory cite is the passage from the Gospel of Philip that says, Christ loved Mary more than all the disciples and used to kiss her often on the, and dramatically the rest, and reveals the secret. It's what's right in front of you, but really think about it. However, that view of matter is actually learned that you need to be just as critical of materialist science as me. Now, those of you who watch my channel know to vibration and holds this most minute solar system of the atom together. First line that we have of the Gospel of Mary is Jesus being asked about matter, and Jesus reveals that all matter, all creatures, all things are interconnected, come from the same source, and will ultimately return to that source. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene says, will matter then be destroyed or not? The Savior said, all nature, all formations, all creatures exist in and with one another, and they will be resolved again into their own roots. For the nature of matter is resolved into the roots of its own nature alone. Now,